The reunion hall buzzed with laughter, old songs, and the faint scent of nostalgia. People were hugging, taking selfies, retelling stories they'd probably told 100 times before. But Ethan Carter stood quietly near the entrance, clutching a cheap second-hand blazer that was already wrinkled from the bus ride. He forced a smile, but inside, he felt heavy, like he didn't belong here anymore. Life had not been kind to him in the past few years. His wife had passed away, leaving him alone with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, whose medical bills kept piling up. He worked 2 part-time jobs, one as a delivery driver in the morning and another stocking shelves at a grocery store at night. Tonight, he had borrowed money from his neighbor just to afford the bus fare. He didn't want to come, but an old classmate insisted, saying it would be good for him. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't, he wasn't sure. Ethan looked around at the faces he once knew so well. Everyone seemed successful: designer suits, fancy dresses, confident smiles. And then, before he could take another breath, he heard her laugh. A laugh that once made his teenage years a nightmare. Vanessa Blake, his old bully, tall, proud, stunning in a black evening dress, surrounded by a group of admirers. Her hair shimmered under the warm lights, and her smile looked expensive, polished by years of success. She hadn't changed much, except she looked richer, sharper, more powerful. Ethan felt his stomach twist. He remembered how she used to mock him, his hand-me-down clothes, the cheap backpack he carried, the old shoes he wore until the soles gave up. She'd call him Thrifty Carter, and laugh in front of everyone. He remembered the day she humiliated him during a school presentation, making him stutter so badly he almost ran off stage. She never apologized. He had nightmares about it for years. He didn't expect her to recognize him, but life had a way of surprising people at the worst time. "Ethan Carter," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. He froze. The entire group turned to look. Vanessa stepped closer, eyes sparkling with mischief, or maybe cruelty. He couldn't tell yet. Well, the reunion just got interesting," she said. He tried to smile, but his chest tightened. "Hey, Vanessa, it's been a long time." She tilted her head, still wearing those bargain bin clothes. Her friends laughed. Something inside Ethan snapped, not from anger, but from exhaustion. He had endured enough in life. Poverty, loneliness, sleepless nights, working until his back ached. And now this. More humiliation. He straightened his shoulders. "You know," he said, "I came here tonight hoping things would be different. But I guess some people never grow up." The sudden silence seemed to swallow the room. Vanessa's eyebrows lifted. No one had ever spoken back to her in school, or in life, maybe. But Ethan was no longer that scared boy. "What's your problem, Ethan?" she snapped. "You are," he said simply. "You made fun of me when we were kids. You made my life hell. And now, you still think it's okay to humiliate someone publicly." People nearby turned to watch. Vanessa looked around, suddenly uncomfortable. Ethan continued, voice steady, "I work hard every day. I'm raising my daughter alone. And guess what? My clothes may be cheap, but they're paid for with honest work. Something you probably wouldn't understand." The group murmured. Vanessa's face flushed. But Ethan wasn't done. "I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm here because I needed a break from my life. And I won't let you ruin even this one night." He turned away, heart pounding, eyes burning. He didn't want to cry, not here. He headed toward the exit, avoiding everyone's gaze. Behind him, the hall felt frozen. Vanessa stood still, stunned. But what Ethan didn't know, what no one knew, was that Vanessa Blake was no ordinary reunion success story. She was the billionaire founder of one of the world's most powerful tech companies. Her face appeared in magazines. Her net worth had skyrocketed. But none of that mattered in the moment. She wasn't thinking as a billionaire. She was thinking as the girl who once made terrible mistakes. And for the first time in her adult life, she felt something twisting painfully inside her: regret. Ethan reached the parking lot, breath shaky. He wiped his eyes, angry at himself for letting her get to him. He was about to walk away when he heard quick footsteps behind him. Ethan, wait. He didn't stop. Please, wait. Her voice cracked. He turned around, surprised. Vanessa stood there, no longer surrounded by admirers, no longer smirking. She looked human, breathless, worried, even scared. What do you want? Ethan asked. She swallowed hard. I need to talk to you. I don't think we have anything to talk about. But we do. She stepped closer. I'm sorry. Ethan blinked. What? I'm really sorry, she said, voice trembling. For everything. For how I treated you back then. For what I just said. It wasn't supposed to come out like that. I mean, I thought I changed, but maybe I didn't as much as I believed. He stared at her, confused, unsure. Vanessa took a deep breath. You were one of the kindest people in school. And I was awful to you. I know that. It's haunted me for years. He frowned. Haunted you, the queen of confidence. She laughed softly, a broken kind of laugh. You think confidence means someone isn't hurting? Ethan, I was miserable in school. My parents were divorcing. I lived with pressure I couldn't handle, and taking it out on others was the only power I felt I had. She looked down. It doesn't excuse anything. I know that, but I am sorry, truly. Ethan didn't know what to say. He had imagined this kind of apology 1,000 times growing up, but never like this. Never real. Why now? He asked. Because when you stood up to me, her voice cracked again. It made me realize how far you've come, and how far I still need to go. Silence stretched between them, filled with old wounds and new truths. He sighed. Look, Vanessa, I've moved on. Mostly. I don't hate you. I don't have time to hate anyone. Life is already hard. She nodded. I can see that. But as she studied his face, his tired eyes, rough skin, the sadness he hid so well, she sensed more pain than she expected. You said you're raising your daughter alone. Ethan nodded slowly. Yeah, Lily. She's 6. And you work 2 jobs. Sometimes 3. Her chest tightened. Why didn't you ask for help? He laughed bitterly. Help isn't free in this world. And I don't like owing people. Vanessa hesitated, then spoke softly. Can I help? No, he said immediately. Why? Because you're you, he said. And I don't want charity. It's not charity, she whispered. It's responsibility. The weight of her words hung between them. I hurt you, she said, voice trembling. And now when I have the ability to actually make things right, please let me. Ethan shook his head. Life doesn't work like that. But it can, she insisted. Just talk to me. Tell me about your daughter. Tell me what you're going through. He hesitated. For the first time all night, someone actually asked. Really asked. So he told her. He talked about Lily. Her bright laugh, her love of drawing stars, her weak lungs that needed medication his salary barely covered. He talked about losing his wife. About working until his back hurt. About eating less so Lily could eat more. Vanessa listened, tears gathering in her eyes. No one had ever seen this side of her, the vulnerable woman with a heart buried under layers of steel. Ethan, she whispered, you're an incredible father. He looked away. No, really, you're strong. Stronger than anyone I've ever met. He shook his head. Being strong doesn't pay bills. She inhaled deeply. Maybe not, but I can. He frowned. Vanessa, please, she said, let me help Lily. Let me help you. Not because I pity you. But because you deserve kindness. And because I owe it to the person I used to hurt. Ethan closed his eyes, overwhelmed. He didn't trust wealthy people. He didn't trust kindness that felt too big. But something in her voice, something in her eyes, told him this wasn't fake. What are you offering? He asked quietly. A job, she said. A real one. Stable. Good salary. Benefits. Flexible hours so you can take care of Lily. He stared at her. I'm not qualified for anything high level. You're smart, she said. You've always been. And empathy is a skill I wish more people had. He didn't respond. She continued gently, please, Ethan. Let me change the ending of our story. For a long moment, he didn't speak. His life had been a series of disappointments, hope felt dangerous. Finally, he nodded slowly. Okay, I'll try. Vanessa exhaled, relief flooding her eyes. Thank you. But the story didn't end there. Over the next few weeks, Vanessa kept her promise. She personally trained Ethan, guided him, helped him learn everything he needed. She visited Lily, bringing books, toys, even breathing monitors the doctors recommended. She never acted superior, never mocked, never crossed boundaries. And Ethan began to see her differently, not as the bully from his past, but as a woman trying desperately to undo her mistakes. One evening, as Vanessa drove Ethan home from work, he whispered, "Thank you. You saved my life." She smiled softly. "Maybe you saved mine too." Their lives slowly intertwined, not out of obligation, but out of understanding. Out of healing, out of something deeper neither dared to name yet. Months later, Ethan stood in a new suit, one he bought himself with his new salary, watching Lily play in a park Vanessa helped renovate. He felt lighter, stronger, hopeful, and behind him, Vanessa approached quietly. "You look different," she said. "How?" "Happy." He smiled. Maybe for the first time in a long time. Vanessa looked at him, her eyes shining with something warm and unspoken. "That's all I ever wanted," she whispered. Ethan turned toward her fully, the wind brushing past them like a silent blessing. "Vanessa," he said softly, "I don't hate you anymore." She nodded. "I know, but I also don't see you the way I used to." Her heart raced. "How do you see me now?" He hesitated, then smiled gently. "As someone I'm grateful to know." Tears filled her eyes. She looked down, trying to hide them, but he reached out and lifted her chin softly. "You're not that girl anymore," he said. "You've changed." She whispered, "So have you." Their breaths mingled in the cold evening air. The past didn't disappear, but it no longer hurt. It became the foundation of something surprising, something healing. They stood there together, two broken people who found strength in forgiveness. And for the first time, their story finally started to feel like it was leading somewhere beautiful. Life never gives us the same chance twice, but sometimes it gives us the right person at the right moment. Ethan stood up for himself without knowing that the girl who once hurt him had become the woman who would change his life. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the past, it's about opening the door to a future you never imagined. If someone has hurt you, remember, people can grow, people can change, and sometimes the greatest healing comes from the most unexpected places.